You see this in the presidential race with poor Joe Biden. Joe Biden is now making a bold new proposal on the campaign trail to ban guns that don't exist.
Because we're unwilling to have a rational policy that says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon.
A rational policy that says that you can't have 20, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. I guess in Joe's defense, it is a rational policy to ban guns that are completely imaginary. Right? It would be irrational to allow guns that are completely imaginary and only exist in Joe Biden's mind. So I guess technically it's rational, though I don't know how rational it is just as a campaign matter to go out talking about policies that don't have any bearing to reality. Banning guns that have 20, 40, 50 clips per weapon. Joe Biden doesn't know what a clip is. He doesn't know what a magazine is. Very likely doesn't know what a gun is. A clip is not a magazine. People confuse this, especially the people who want to take your guns. They think that a clip is a magazine. Clip feeds ammunition into a magazine. Magazine feeds ammunition into the chamber of a gun. Guns do not have 40 or 50 clips. It's not how guns work. Joe Biden could be forgiven, perhaps, this ignorance. He's obviously not a gun guy, doesn't know anything about guns, probably doesn't like guns very much. He likes having his armed security have a lot of guns. I notice he loves that, but he clearly doesn't like guns very much. That's true for virtually all of the Democratic candidates, with perhaps the exception of Bernie Sanders. But he's the one writing the laws. There's this strange irony on the left and in politics where the people writing the laws about guns don't know anything about guns. And they're unwilling to listen to the people who do know. If you go to your average, perfectly common Walmart shopper, they will know more about guns than any of these Democratic candidates for president. But these days, I don't know, now it's harder to buy a gun at Walmart. But for a long time, you get the point. You go to the average Joe on the street outside of New York, LA, San Francisco, and depends on what neighborhood you're in New York, LA, or San Francisco. The person you meet on the street will know much, much more. Technically, they will just have more knowledge of guns than Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, any of these guys, Elizabeth Warren. That's pretty weird. That's a weird thing that our so-called elites, guys, I mean, that's certainly true of the media, too. The people who run their mouths about guns on MSNBC or CNN don't know anything about guns. The people who would have themselves be our elites and tell us what to do and write our laws and tell us what to think know significantly less, just as a matter of pure information, than your regular run-of-the-mill American. That's a strange situation to be in, because your regular run-of-the-mill American has a lot more humility than those so-called elites. Joe Biden took it, made it even a little bit weirder on the campaign trail. Joe Biden was asked a question that he didn't want to answer, and he referred to the young girl who asked the question as a dog-faced lion pony soldier.
So you're arguably the candidate with the greatest advantage in this race. You've been the vice president. You weren't burdened down by the impeachment trials. In the participation. So how do you explain the performance in Iowa, and why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
So this comment from Uncle Joe made people wonder if he's doing okay, if he's all there in the head. People are saying that he's losing it, that he's becoming senile. Now, I don't think that's exactly what's happening. Because his defense, Joe Biden's defense, is that he's referring to an old movie. So what the people are saying is Joe Biden is losing his mind, and Joe Biden's campaign defense is, no, he's just really, really old, and he's referring to an old movie. So what he's saying is it refers to an old John Wayne movie. Trouble is, there's no evidence that that line comes from a John Wayne movie at all. He's used the line before, but there's no, even the liberal outlet Vox.com did some research into this, said we don't see any evidence that that line came from a John Wayne movie. It may have come from the 1952 movie by Tyrone Power called Pony Soldier, in which a character says, "The pony soldier speaks with a tongue of the snake that rattles." So I guess it does kind of allude to liars and people being dishonest. Even here, even in this weird clip that's going viral because people are saying Biden's lost his mind or he's senile, this is evidence, maybe of a little bit of those two things, but really evidence that Joe Biden is just saying things that he doesn't know anything about. When his campaign comes out there and says, oh yeah, it's from an old John Wayne movie, don't worry. Even that's not true. Even that is not true, and they don't particularly care if it's true. Big problem for our republic, because an ignorant electorate is not capable of self-government. If you enjoyed that break from the disinformation, the historical revision, and the screaming about the end of the world, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another video.